Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to the Bourse Report. Well, today we're placing the spotlight on Sagicor Financial Corporation and their recently released financial results for the year ended 2018. Now, there were some good developments, some not so good developments, and indeed some very interesting future prospects for the company. So let's take a look first at the financial performance. And for the year ended December 2018, Sagicor reported a fully diluted earnings per share figure of just around the TT equivalent of 94 cents per share, which was a considerable 40% decline from the $1.54 recorded in the prior comparable period. Now, the good news is that revenues were up significantly. Net premium revenues did increase just around 41.4% from around 5 billion TT equivalent to just around 7 billion TT equivalent. And net investment income, however, did experience a decline from 2.5 to just around 1.98 billion TT equivalent there, or just around a 22% decline. Now, one of the significant developments over the course of 2018 was the restructuring of Government of Barbados debt and its impact on companies such as Sagicor Financial Corporation, who recorded credit impairment losses of just around 640 million TT equivalent related to that particular event. And that, of course, did not exist in financial 2017 for Sagicor. Now, income before taxes did increase overall around 17% from 838 to just around $981 million. However, net income attributable to common shareholders, or that is shareholders of Sagicor, did decline some 40% from 485 million TT equivalent to just around 292 million TT equivalent. Now, without the impact of some of these one-off events, adjusted net income to shareholders would have actually increased just around 14.5% from that $485 million figure in 2017 to just around $555 million on an adjusted basis for 2018. Looking at the revenue story, again, it continues to be a positive upward trend for Sagicor. As we can see, some of the notable changes in terms of net premium revenue that jumped from just around $5 billion to over 7 billion TT equivalent. And much of that was attributable to a change in business operating strategy with respect to Sagicor USA's business segment, whereby they stopped reinsuring their risk and instead are now taking all of that risk, as well as the reward through premium revenues onto their own books. Net investment income, as we mentioned, did decline from 2.5 to just around 1.98 billion in that green bar there. And again, that was to be somewhat expected given the fairly challenging investing environment that was experienced in 2018. In terms of other income, investment banking fees, particularly from its Sagicor Jamaica operations, would have contributed to an increase from 628 million to just around 900 million odd on the revenue side. Looking at income before taxes, again, there were some notable changes in 2018 that Sagicor Jamaica operation increased from 790 million to around 964 million TT equivalent, whereas the Sagicor Life segment in green declined from 493 to 377 million. So some pretty important changes there, and very notably, Sagicor Life, again, because of their change in business strategy, would have swung from a loss of 2.1 million TT equivalent in 2017 to that gain of just around 155 million in 2018. Now, in terms of the earnings trajectory and dividend story, well, here we can see that very notable slip in reported earnings per share from that $1.33 from continuing ops to just around 94 cents. However, dividends have remained fairly stable in the green column over the past 3 years at just around 34 cents TT equivalent. Now, more importantly for investors is what's going to happen in the next few coming months. In particular, with the deal or the proposed scheme of arrangement between Alliinvest II Corporation in their pursuit of Sagicor Financial Corporation. And of course, just to refresh investors and shareholders, that would involve a delisting from local stock exchanges or regional stock exchanges, including Barbados and Trinidad, as well as the UK, and a relisting of the share on the Toronto Exchange in Canada. So thereafter, or on successful transaction and completion of this transaction, shareholders would now be able to trade their shares and receive Canadian dollars for their shares. Now, it's of interest because there are significant benefits that are tied, or potential benefits that are tied to this particular transaction. And in the case of Sagicor shareholders, from a market trading perspective, well, there is the prospect of increased liquidity as well as better price discovery for the worth of the Sagicor shares, as well as the injection of some international experience and expertise, which could lend to future or improving future prospects for Sagicor Financial Corporation going forward. Now, it's very important over the next few weeks because Alinvest, the acquirer or the proposed acquirer, intends to have a shareholder meeting to vote on whether or not they're going through with the particular transaction to take over Sagicor. And following that shortly, we expect that Sagicor Financial Corporation shareholders will have the opportunity to vote as to whether or not they accept the proposed scheme of arrangement. Now, at a price of $8.60, Sagicor is trading on the Trinidad and Tobago Exchange at a price-to-earnings multiple of just a shade over 9 times, which is below the sector average of 11.5 times roughly, and offers investors a dividend yield of around 3.9%, which is above the sector average of just around 3.1%. So on the basis of what we expect or we anticipate to be improving earnings in the year ahead, with some of these one-off events now behind us, as well as the prospect of the takeover or the acquisition or scheme of arrangement rather, where Alinvest would be taking over Sagicor Financial Corporation and the benefits that should redound to investors, Bourse upgrades its rating on Sagicor to a buy. That's it for this week's edition. For more information, give us a call at 226-8773, email us at invest@boursefinancial.com, or check out our website at bourseinvestment.com. Have yourselves a wonderful investing week. This has been the Bourse Report.